Good evening once again. Viewers, sorry for the technical hits right there. You know, it's part of technology, though. You know, we're expecting we're having a successful conversation. All of the sudden, technology couldn't. But as we're discussing bit about his personality, professor's personality, and then we'll go into medical background, and then where he has gotten to as a professional, professional in the area of medicine, and his speciality with the virologist, virology, right?
Yeah.
So, am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and we discussed. He took us through his mother, disappearance of his mother, and all those stuff. Where you go to university, his football time, and all those stuff. So, guys, I believe you are anxious to get the rest of the juice. So, Doc, and we're about to conclude on the COVID, the impact of COVID, and then the way. And I think you've virtually finished with the COVID, but you were saying that the world should expect another viral, what do you call it, viral infection, like the global one. We should expect it.
Yeah, that's pandemic. Yeah, that's pandemic.
Yeah. Why is it so?
Yeah, it's not only like a viral pandemic. It will be infectious diseases pandemic. So the reason why I'm saying we should be expecting is, as I said, when you look at the history of pandemics, I think the first one, as I said, was the Spanish flu. So the distance between the Spanish flu and the first major one, another major one was SARS, which was about almost so many years. But between SARS to COVID-19, although between them there have been Ebola, Zika, and so on and so forth. But when you see between them, the distance is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Why? It's because the world is now a global village. As I used to say, if one want to, like for example, if I want to travel to Hajj, for example, and before then I decide, okay, before I go to Saudi Arabia, let me attend a conference in the United States. Then at the same time, I have a conference in South Africa. Then I have another conference in Nigeria. So within a week, I can go to all these places and then go to Saudi Arabia. So the impact is, if I have an infection, the moment I reach United States, it means I'll be transmitting it. Then immediately I go to, for example, Germany. Then I go to South Africa. Then I go to Nigeria before going to Saudi. So before the world will realize that there is a problem, it has already spread. So that's why now our risk of having pandemic is much higher than before. So we should be expecting more and more pandemics.
Okay, so Doc, I'm interested in the COVID-19 bit because in Africa, most people would believe that the COVID didn't affect the African people, but when you juxtapose that to looking at the politicians here in Ghana per se, there were restrictions, don't do this, don't do that. But when it was time for political campaigns here and there, the same people who were, enforcing these laws, don't do this, don't gather, the same people went and gathered, having parties, doing all big funerals here and there. So it was, and some people were seeing that it was a political disease, not an actual or reality of its kind. How do you take that?
Yeah, I remember when COVID started, there is a colleague or a friend, a childhood friend, who called me and said he has heard of a disease called COVID, but he is of the opinion that COVID is a lie.
Yeah.
But as a researcher, I've looked at what we call the molecular clocking of diseases. I've also analyzed the genomes of SARS-CoV-2. That's the cause of COVID-19. And I found out that it's real. It's not that it's a lie, it's real. And some people, those on the conspiracy theory aspect of the argument, are of the view that COVID-19 was intentionally created by China, as my friend Donald Trump used to say, China virus. But no, it's not a China virus.
Yeah.
There was what we call a recombination, which led to the virus, splitting over into the human generation. So that one too is not a lab created virus, but it's just that it's split from animals to human being. So virus is COVID-19 is true. COVID-19 was not created by any lab. But as for the aspect of the politicians, I don't want to indulge in this political gimmick. So well, that's what I would say. I don't know why they restricted some people. Then when it came to theirs, they didn't do that restriction. I don't know about that.
No, Doc, largely, someone who is for the first time watching you through this platform, MSTV special edition, you say this man is very, very successful, whatever he's doing. Can you share with us what you form up, success stories and how you grind to get to where you got
to? Success story. I don't know. I don't think I have any attribution to where I've reached, but some people have been asking me, what motivates me. What motivates me? Because when you really listen to the part of my story, some people who didn't encounter even half of what I encountered, were destroyed in life. But but I keep going on. So I think first and foremost, I will say that maybe it's God. It's God. It's not even maybe, it's God. Yeah, who directed me to where I am now. Then secondly, they asked me that motivation factor. I don't know. I think maybe it's some fear. Fear. Yeah, so they asked me what fear. I say fear of failure. Because when my mom was not around and my sisters, when you look at the chronology of my life, at a point, all those who were willing to assist me, as soon as they start, then at a point, then they will die. For example, after my mom got missing, if I could remember vividly, it was my grandmother who, started taking care of me.
Yeah.
Then my grandmother died. Then my auntie, who is my father's sister, her name is Ajia Izatu. She took over. And, she really looked after me very well. Then at a point, she also had to go. She died. Then I got closer to my sister, Abiba. Then she also died. I came down with my dad. We had a very, very turbulent period, but when we started getting unwell, then he also died. Wow. Then my other sister, Mariam, she too, we started getting closer. Then she also died. So in between, I saw how people, especially your own family, treating you because you have a dream. You have a dream, and that dream is you also want to leave something for the world. So the family was actually treating me like a parasite. Yeah, they were treating me like a parasite. But when my mom was going to, I think a day before or two before she got missing, she left something in me. she told me that, listen, she used to call me my husband. I will not forget that. She said, hey, my husband, try your best one day to become one of the best scientists of your time.
Ooh.
Yeah, so when I was facing that intense difficulty, where even sometimes I even thought that the air that is blowing is an enemy, it was
Yeah.
that message of that old lady which kept, vibrating in my mind. Yeah. So by the fact that I saw that hatred, I saw that dislike, made me have this fear that I don't want to go back to that period again. So every day when I go to bed, I can't even sleep because every day I want to be working. Every day I want to working. So I think I'll attribute where I am now to, first and foremost, my God. Then secondly, my wish not to go back to that period of intense suffering. Yeah.
So I think largely we discussed about who you are, your profession, and then your organization. Let's come back to your organization before we wrap up.
Yeah.
You've taken us through the journey of how you thought of it, in the first name, and then what you've gotten now. At the earlier, you also took us through some of the challenges. Now that I think the organization is on its feet, doing well, I believe still there are challenges. Can you share with us some of the challenges?
Well, yeah. Well, the main challenges now is, as I used to tell people, is I don't know whether it's right, but sometimes it's the color of who I am. Because I remember there are a couple of times that, professors, as soon as they see the organization, they call me for us to talk. Then the first question they ask, I thought you are an Arab because of your name. Yeah, I thought you were an Arab. I said, no, I'm from Africa. So that challenge of you having to overwork for whatever you come out with to be accepted is there.
Yeah.
Then secondly is, every organization requires funding. So initially when we were approaching big funders, first, when we submit the proposal, they will say, oh, that's a wonderful proposal. So can we have a one-on-one discussion with you? Then when they meet me, they say, we thought you are from United Kingdom. We thought, but so the moment the person sees your color, the person go back and they don't want to. I remember there was once one organization I spoke to. Then the director scheduled a meeting with me, and he was blunt, and he told me that, wow, that a black man with these ideas. So I decided to intentionally show him what is in me, because sometimes when they talk to you, simple things, then they will ask you, do you understand me? When they know if like I was one of them, that person will not ask that question. So those things have been some of the challenges, but we are still trying to break down those barriers. At the end of the day, they will keep, asking questions, and we will still be, proving them wrong till they are able to accept that, well, we have the mentality of, changing the world. You know something, Ibra, you see, I always say that in this world, three people have really, really helped the Black people. The first one is Nelson Mandela. The second one is Muhammad Ali, the boxer. The third one is Obama, President Obama. Even I can add the fourth person, who is Kofi Annan. When these people started achieving those success, then some people started realizing that the black man is not, excuse me, is not a fool.
Capable of.
They are capable of doing things. Yeah. So some of them accept us, but some still they have that that doubt. But it's challenges. We keep breaking the challenges every day. Every day we keep breaking the challenge. And just recently we interview somebody for a job. When you interview the person went on my linked page. Because on link page, when somebody searches for you, it shows. So the person went on my link page, read about me. Then we interviewed the person. During the interview, she did very well. She was okay. So I recommended that she was given the job. But later she wrote, she sent me an email that, in fact, she can't work with black person. So
really?
Yeah. It's one of those things. But sometimes you go to bed, you work extremely hard. You go to bed thinking that, oh, today I really did very well. But when you think of the negative aspect, then sometimes you get a bit tired. Yeah.
Wow, interesting one. Anyway, so Dov, let's look at the grand vision for African research, African Health Research Organization. In 10 years, 5 years to 10 years, what should the world be looking at?
Well, for now, in the long term, we want to become one of the global player when it comes to health issues. So I think we've put a mechanism in place that will surely, that will have like 100% confidence that it will take us to where we want to reach. We want to reach the stage maybe in 10 years' time when the United Nations and the WHO are going to talk about African health. Then African Health Research Organization will be the first institution that they will think of inviting. Yeah, and we want to make sure that we reach every home, especially in Africa. Why do I say we reach every home? So that everything that we come up with will be felt in every home. That's the vision. Yeah, that's the vision. So in 10 years' time, I'm very sure that we'll be able to reach there. Even when we are gone, because the structures are there. When we are gone, those who will come after us, we just have the strategy there. So they will just continue it.
Okay. So Prof, someone will say, finally, someone will say, African Health Research Organization, and it is based in Scotland. The connection, how are you serving your people, the Africans? Is there any connection?
Yeah, there is a connection because what is happening now is our strategy is first, let's build that credibility.
Yeah.
Let's build the credibility. Because some people, when they approach and say, where is your main office? I say, oh, we are based in Scotland. They say, oh, that's good, then we can work together. So we are trying to build that credibility. So the next phase of our expansion will be in Africa. I think I spoke with, the last time I was speaking with the chair of the Board of Trustees. We have identified, 3 countries that we want to establish our centers of excellence. That's Kano in Nigeria, then Harare in Zimbabwe, then Pretoria in South Africa. So when we start from there, we look at the prospect of either collaborating with research institutions around maybe, let's say, West Africa. Then we build it from there. Rome wasn't built in a day, so we are hoping that we will reach there.
Okay, Prof, I think that's all time will allow us. But do you have any last message for our viewers watching you who has never heard of Prof Abubakar Yaro from Ghana, doing great in Scotland? Your last message to them, and any loved one that might be watching afterwards.
Well, I think the message is, you know, over the course of life, is a journey. So over the course of life, I've learned, I think, some couple of lessons. The first one is I've learned how to be very tolerant. I've learned how to be very, very tolerant. Then the second one is I've developed the habit of, forgiving, letting things go by.
Sure.
You know, 2 times I made a promise, and 2 times I went to the grave to tell those who were lying there that, listen, the promise I did, I cannot fulfill it, so you have to forgive me. Yeah, the first one, when I went to Kano to go and visit my sister's grave, after I was told what her husband did to her, I made a promise in my heart that I will retaliate. Then when my father was being buried, I made another promise that I'll come back and retaliate. But later, when I look at life, so when I went to Kano, I think last year, I went to my sister's grave and said, hey, sister, when I came to your grave about years ago, I promised you that I will retaliate, but I'm coming to tell you that I'm not going to retaliate, because if I'm to retaliate, then it means I have to also kill somebody, and I don't want anybody's blood to be on me. Similarly, what some people made my father pass through, I promised him that I will retaliate. But later I went back and told him, hey, listen, Dad, I'm not going to retaliate. When we come there, then if there is another world going back, yeah, we go there and go in. So my advice to the younger generation, and even all of us, is we should develop this attitude of tolerance, attitude of forgiveness. Then lastly, the ability to persevere. Rome, they say, wasn't built in a day. Yeah, so if you have a vision, it's not easy. Yeah. But you have to persevere till one day the knock punch will come and you find your success. Yeah, so I think those are the things that I'll leave. Then I think during those life, especially in the last 2 years, which was just before I came to Scotland, I think 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, even if you tell my worst enemy that one day Prof will be winning awards, will be doing this, the person will say, no, it's not. No, not what my worst enemy, my best supporter. Yeah, during those difficult times, I think one lady who stood with me was Maimuna. Yeah, I remember one day she woke me up in the night and said, Doc, I feel like dying. I said, what is it? She said she was feeling like having an attack, panic attack, because by then the problem was too much. And I told her, oh, don't worry, the God that made us will be the same God that takes us out of any problem we have. But I don't want to indulge so much in my life story. Yeah, when the book comes, the title of the book is No Easy Route to Genuine Success. Yeah, that's the title of the book. So I think those are the things that I'll leave the world with: tolerance, perseverance, and able to forgive things. Yeah.
We will say we are blessed to have such a personality on our special edition program, which will be airing live on MSTV website, www.mstv.com, MSTV on YouTube, MSTV on Facebook, and MSTV on all our platforms. Until then, guys, I'll say it's very, very honored. I'm very, very honored to have Professor Abubakar Yaro, biologist from Ghana, who's doing great in Scotland. I'll say Assalamu alaikum, and don't forget to following us on MSTV. And inshallah, we'll schedule another conversation with Dr. Yaro before his lunch. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, yeah. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks.